So I'm gonna get this up on some jack stands and then remove these control arms and stuff. If you've watched my other videos of, that green car, my the old Z28, it's just gonna be the same process where you leave these loaded up and then loosen them, hit them, and then it springs apart. Don't be dumb like me. So in that time lapse, you probably saw I started taking off this stuff, but I don't even need to. I'm not going to use these spindles. These are, drum brakes. Planning on going pretty fast, so they're not going to work. So to get this off, all I need to do, like I said, is take suspension off these two bolts, and then the spindle comes off. And definitely not going to use it. So that is the correct path forward. So top one's separated, but not the bottom. So we didn't make these ball joint forks, and I have one up at our other shop. So I'm gonna go grab one and stick it in there. So I'm heading into town tomorrow to pick up a 5.3 liter, fingers crossed that everything works out. The truck that it's in is pretty hammered, but I'm hoping that, it's a little sawzall, a little angle grinder action. Should be able to get her out of there. So gonna try and, update you guys as I'm taking it out and tell you all the fun shenanigans that go into it and, the kind of the methodology to get it out of there. So gonna be a long day tomorrow, but we're gonna make it happen, rain or shine. Made quite a bit of progress. So my kind of methodology here is to take off the front end, then I'll have access to the front accessories and everything, and it'll be a lot easier to pull forward. So we're definitely diving into this thing. It's no fun with all the mud and stuff on the ground, but that's why we got the boots on. So I would set up a freaking time lapse, but I'm worried someone's gonna walk over and see all the stuff going on in this junkyard. Got this front end off of this thing. Pretty amazing. Freaking supposed to be raining today, but looks like the sun is shining on us. Must be meant to be for us to tackle this motor de-installation. Making serious headway. It's definitely not the easiest thing, but now that the front's kind of uncovered, we should be, looking a little better. Easier to get to everything. All right, good news. Freaking got this thing home. Long day in the old wrecking yard, but I'm gonna move this frame out of the way and plan on moving this car over this way and using this beam, back the truck up, use the come along in the beam to either set this thing on the floor. I don't know if we have enough metric bolts or long enough metric bolts to bolt it up, but I might end up making some bolts or something. So time to get to it. Yeah, pretty stoked with the haul here. So 5.3 LS, I think I probably already mentioned that. And I got these truck intakes. I think they're kind of, I don't know, not really that useful. I think you could end up going with like a high ram or something, Holley high ram. But we got all the accessories, and I was gonna get the ECU, but I'm gonna do some research and see, or the stock ECU, and do some research and see if it's even useful, because I don't really want to go back over town. I live on an island, so I might skip it. you know, see if it's even necessary. So on this, I'm definitely gonna take off all these accessories like water pump. I still gotta get this fan off. I don't know how necessarily I'm gonna do it because you do need kind of some special tools to get it off, but I'll figure something out. And I'm just gonna take off, you know, all these brackets and stuff because I am gonna want to clean this thing up and paint it. I'm kind of a, you know, attention to detail guy, so I want this thing to look nice. Probably paint the block black. And then I am gonna take these heads off, and kind of the thing to do is to get some 6-liter heads because they have larger combustion chambers. So probably heads are gonna go, you know, maybe try and get a few bucks for them. I don't know if they're worth anything. Probably a ton of them out there. But get rid of those, put the 6-liter heads on there, probably get them ported and, you know, a valve job done on them so they can handle all the heat from a turbo. So now that I got this head off, looks pretty good in here. I am planning on, you know, trying to get rid of this head. So what I like to do when I take an engine apart like this and you have, you know, items that are matched to certain other items, like push rod to rocker arm, I like to number them. So I'll say like left 1, 2, 3, 4, right, up to 8. And then, so then when you sell them, they can put them back together how it came apart. So this motor looks to be in pretty good condition. No real rust in the cylinders or anything. I'm definitely going to clean it up. And planning on putting some LS9 gaskets in here and getting those larger combustion chamber heads to lower the compression. And that should allow it to, you know, seal a little better for boost. And also, you know, you don't want too high compression. Otherwise you can have some detonation and a lot of heat when you do boost something.
Oh yeah.
So got this thing pretty well cleaned up. A little bit of, you know, elbow grease on this old valley cover. Crazy how cleaning one thing makes the motor so much prettier. But it looks like we do have a little bit of rust in this cylinder. You can kind of see it. So I'm probably going to take this thing, you know, down, take the crank out, take the rods out, or take the rods and pistons out, and then do like a light hone on these cylinders just to, you know, get a fresh crosshatch in there. Might put some rings in it as well. Got a couple more things off of here. Got the motor mount, AC bracket, motor mount on this side as well. So I'm gonna tackle taking this water pump off. I got this sweet little tripod, so my you know, my film equipment is getting a little better, so that's exciting. Yeah, I'm gonna tackle taking this water pump off. Enjoy the time lapse. All right, got her off. So now I'm gonna take off this harmonic dampener, and usually to take these off, an impact suffices, so we'll hope for the best there. So, sounds like I'm gonna have to do some research on how to get this off. Feels like it's torqued to about 300 foot-pounds or 250 foot-pounds or something super crazy. So, I guess that's staying on there. Alright, so that frickin' dampener, no way that's coming off. I might grab a bigger impact from this shop and go down there and see if it, you know, gets it off. But for now, I'm gonna focus on making a little bracket. I got some nuts that I'm gonna weld on to the back side of this, so I can kind of hold this down while I heat up this, and then I'm also gonna make a little, you know, fork that goes into these holes on the, you know, pulley. And hopefully with some heat, it'll spin right off of there, fingers crossed. So after a quick little fabrication project, I made this one to go on the nut of the fan, and this one to kind of lock into the fan. I got it off. Good to go. Now that I got everything situated in here, I'm gonna get back to work on this frame. So pretty crazy, these sway bar bushings are super worn out. So they had it in there but disconnected, so kind of interesting. But time to get back to work. Alright, so I got pretty much all that I can get off without taking this suspension apart, and I used to have this little spring holder compressor that like cupped the you know, coil spring and then went up, and there was an all thread that went up to here where the shock goes, but I can't seem to find it, so I'm going to take this metal, kind of finagle it in there and make something like this, you know, that can hold on to the spring while I drop this lower control arm. Drop the lower control arm, then you undo the all thread, you know, you let it come out, and then it uncompresses the spring, because as I've said before, there's a lot of energy behind the spring, so you want to somehow hold it while you take it all apart, otherwise it'll just boom, you know, open up really hard, and it's super dangerous. So I'm gonna work on making this, so it should be a useful little tool. Alright, I got this side out. Always feels like your freaking life is hanging in the balance when you're working with these springs, but we got her out. So now it's on to the other side. Definitely a process, but you know, as long as you're careful, you can get them out. Alright, so you can see I have this little thing to hold the spring, and then I tighten it up here. And then my dad taught me this trick where you tie a rope to it in case it does somehow, you know, shoot out of there, that it doesn't fly and hit you in the face. And I'm definitely, you know, when I am about to separate like the spindle and everything, I kind of stand on this side over here and make sure I'm out of the way of it, so it doesn't, if something, God forbid, something does happen, doesn't really get you. So just a few tips. Oh, the joys of working on these cars. So it looks like this got stuck on this little bump stop, so I gotta tighten it back up and then go from there. Always something. Survived the frickin' mission. So I'm basically gonna get this frame all stripped in this video, and then we'll be moving on to another chapter. So I'm gonna get a little time lapse of taking these control arms off and also the engine mounts off. Should be quick and easy, fingers crossed. definitely feeling accomplished. Got this frame all stripped. All the suspension components are here. Didn't lose any limbs or teeth taking these springs out, so that's definitely a victory in and of itself. So yeah, I think I'm going to cut off the video here. Hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully you learned something. Definitely quite the process getting one of these you know, frames all down to the bone. So one thing I will say with this frame, I'm planning on getting it all, you know, prepped, painted, and then I'm going to slip it into the car. I'm probably going to, you know, paint the underside of the car a little bit as well, and then that allows me to put these subframe connectors in, and also the roll cage. You have to have it all, you know, kind of painted, because it kind of goes in there permanently when you put the subframe connectors in, because they weld it into the floor and then they weld to the frame. So that's kind of why I'm working or prioritizing the frame. And yeah, so successful little video. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for stopping into the Bluebird Enterprises YouTube channel. If you like what you saw, give me a big thumbs up, and hopefully you're leaving with a bigger smile than you came in with.